Welcome to today's video. It's not real nitrous, it's just air. Mike was so spooked he thought I was gonna freeze him. Don't actually mess around and do that, you could actually hurt your friends. The Supra needs to become more competitive because I'm bringing a 500 horsepower car that makes 300 foot-pounds of torque to an event that I'm a part of, and everyone else is bringing pro cars that make like 800 plus horsepower. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna add some nitrous. So I don't know if we're gonna finish in this video, but this has actually been a plan of the Supra the whole time. That's why we have this cool little nitrous mount down in here. I don't remember what the plan is up top, but the bottle will kind of go like this. Get one of the big johns in there, make another 100 horsepower. It's not a lot, but it's an honest living. And then moving around, we already did the wheel brakes in the front. We still got to do them in the rear. That'll shave some rotational weight. And then what I'm gonna start dabbling in today is some more carbon fibre. So we're gonna get that bad john on while Sean pulls off the intake manifold so we can weld in all of the individual bungs for the nitrous. All right, so we're gonna run basically 4 bungs right in here, just kind of keep it clean, and then we'll have individual nitrous jets. I don't know how big they'll be. Vargas says you need like double the size jet for rotary to make the same power that you would on any other engine, but we'll see. Neat little trick. Luckily we already have these and we know that it's like pretty dialed on the hood. Let's put a little squirt there, squirt here, do one of these. Still does seem to be working with the hood shocks, just gotta be careful. Yeah. Do the trick? Yes, sir. Look at that, dude. Money. So now I'm just gonna blast through a drill bit, literally the size of this post. I feel like that's a good, safe first bet.
Yep, we can always go bigger from there.
It's gonna be hard, like, I guess it needs to be pretty straight, but it's not necessarily like the straightest on the other side, so you have to be careful. Today's video is brought to you by Carly. Now this fancy little device I keep on me at all times, I don't go anywhere without, and I'll show you why. We're gonna plug it right into the OBD port right down here. And then with our cell phone, we get to do a bunch of cool stuff. All right, now I'm gonna be honest, I feel like I use it the most just to clear codes with that little button right there. But in the event that you're not just worried about a check an engine light, you actually want to fix whatever's wrong with your car, rather than taking it to a mechanic shop and spending a lot to fix whatever may be wrong, you can click these little issues here, like let's see, all right, what's going on with our air conditioning? And it will tell you not only the code, but there's a smart mechanic feature that basically gives you a write-up on how to diagnose and fix the issue. Pretty cool. One other cool feature on the app is the coding section, which allows us to configure a lot of cool little options like comfort access, lighting features, alarms, basically anything that's codable or configurable on your car, you can control through the app. Like, I didn't even know this was a thing. It reduces the wiping speed on stop with a windshield wiper. So if I didn't want it to do that, I could change that if I wanted to stay. Now, if you guys want to pick up one of these Carly devices for yourself, they were kind enough to give me a code for you guys. It is my name, AdamLZ25, and it will get you 15% off one of these things. Check it out. I'll put a link in the description. I always appreciate when you guys support the companies that support me and make the stuff that we do possible. Thank you, Carly, for sponsoring this video. The post is effectively straight up.
Yeah.
But when the hood lays down, like what angle is it on? Yeah, so if I keep drilling the way that I'm drilling, it ain't gonna be good. The angle is not like that.
The same as, yeah.
So it's very deceiving.
Words have been hard lately.
Yeah. I guess if I follow the same plane as that.
I mean, either way, you can hone it out a little bit.
The next part's the scary part.
Damn, there you go.
So we had a pretty awful gap here before, so we might want to try shifting it forward a little bit. We'll make the front bumper fit better before we get to the hood. Two reasons I haven't been driving this car. One of which I got very sad because I drove it, brand new, fresh paint job, and I ate into my fresh paint on the quarters because when it has a person in the back seat, it squats too hard and rubs in the fenders. So I'm gonna tweak my alignment, try to get that a little bit better, or maybe just accept that I can have people in the back seat. In addition to that, I lost my AC belt and one just came today. So I'm hopefully gonna get this thing back together so I can start driving again. This is probably one of my all-time favorite cars. It's fast, it's comfortable, I can fit groceries and in it, so I'm gonna try to work on that right now.
good day to check lash. So the Legends of Drift is coming up.
Like about a week.
Yeah. So we're doing some prep on this. We're putting some new catch cans in, pull the trans, like look at the clutch and everything. And we're also gonna check the valve lash because it's just something you're supposed to check on these motors. Usually it's not supposed to move, but it has moved a little bit. So we made some adjustments so far.
You only found like one that's kind of out of spec.
It was like a lot out of spec.
Really?
But all the other ones were like really good.
Okay.
So we're gonna dial the lash in, put the valve covers back on, and then look at the trans and the clutch, and then go from there.
Go on, get it. Go on, get it. Yeah, buddy.
Now throughout this video you might see the blue Chaser in the background on the lift and you wonder what the heck is going on with that thing. It's a giveaway car. Correct. If you haven't seen on the channel, every $5 you spend on my store, lzmfg.com, is going to get you entered for a chance to win this thing and $9,000 cash. It's a pretty sweet car, but we put it up on the lift and we found some things that weren't quite LZ spec. One of which is needing charged AC. So we're charging the AC on it. The shocks also kind of ride like poop, so we're going to stick a set of custom BCs on it, and then it's got an open diff in the back. So can't have fun with it or film doing donuts or burnouts right now, so I'm gonna put an LSD in it, and that's kind of what the start of what's going on. That way I can film more cool stuff to hopefully convince you to buy things and support the channel. I don't think you guys have seen this car for a while on the channel, and it's honestly no particular reason. This car is kind of a weird space because I can't drive it at a lot of places that require cages. I did, however, drive it the other day to film a reel with it, and it reminded me how much I love this car. And I was planning to try to do the electric power steering in this video, but I can't find the kit that I have, and I spent about an hour looking for it and then decided to give up. So I'm gonna make some improvements to this car, and I have a couple things to kind of teach you, like tricks that can apply to an S chassis or really any other sort of drift car. So I'm gonna put this thing on the lift, and we're gonna fix it. Also, this is terrible. I think this play is literally just in the quick release, but like, that is the worst feeling to drive with. It feels like your steering wheel is about to fall off.
Yeah, it's all in the quick release.
I kind of want to put a bigger steering wheel on it. That'd kind of be like installing power steering.
In a way, yeah.
Get a little more leverage on her. It's fun to drive solo, but tandem's really tough just because of the fact that you have like basically no control to turn the front wheels. Now, one of my biggest pet peeves in the world is when people drive with crooked steering wheels. So if you ever see someone post a story and they're like driving their S13 or something down the road and their steering wheel looks like this, make sure to tell them to do better. I do this to Jimmy Oaks all the time. That motherfucker always be posting up clips on his story, driving down the road like this. Friends don't let friends do that. Now, the simple fix would be to, I'll just take my steering wheel off the hub, I'll take it, I'll turn in a couple splines, and then it'll be straight. But when you do that, there's a very high chance that you're creating a problem, and that problem is what I'm gonna dive into right now. Now, I've shown you many times how important it is when you have a car in the air to always wiggle the wheels and see if you have any play. In this case, actually, I play up and down and side to side. And the best thing you can do is have a friend do this and then just like put your finger on things to see where the play is coming from. In this scenario, you can see the inside of the tie rod's moving around a bit. You just got a little bit of play right here in the inner tie rod. Nope. Yep. All right, so we're gonna be doing tie rods, and what I wanna show you guys is how to center the rack. Now, what's really important is that you have the steering wheel centered and the rack centered, because if we just corrected the steering wheel, but the rack is offset, you'd have more steering angle on one side than the other. It may sound kind of confusing, but I'm gonna try to explain it and show you in the way that it makes the most sense possible. So here, you look here, okay, like this section here, and tell me if you can see it.
Oh yeah.
So I've never seen that before. It's like the lower mount is somehow like loose on the shock. The shocks on this car are garbage, and I actually have a set of custom spec VCs for it. I wasn't planning to do it today, but if I got to realign the car, I think this might be one of those scope creep things, kind of like when I was working on Rudnick's car. So maybe we'll do new shocks on this thing while we got it up here. Then we can test it, go beat the shit out of it, and show how much better it is. Now, it's really important when you're doing tie rods. A lot of people, including myself, they won't hold the rack with anything, and it's really bad for the rack if you just try to break it loose. So usually you want to put something like a wrench or something on a rack here, so that way you can like kind of counteract your movement. But in this case, I have like a rack adapter here that just gives you a little bit of extra steering lock. So I'm gonna use that as my leverage point. Remember to use this. Just another little rack spacer. Please don't film me using this wrench, Michael.
What? It's a monkey wrench for the tie rod, dude.
I just don't feel like finding the right tools right now. We all have those
To
days.
be fair, it is a nightmare finding these tools here.
We have 2 of our boxes that are both missing because one is in Europe and then the other one's with FD stuff.
Yeah,
So we're short on tools here.
we're scavenging.
I gotta say, it's been a long time since I've been looking for S13 parts up here, but with all the S13 stuff I used to do, there's gotta be a strong chance that I've got at least 1 tie rod lying around somewhere.
Or 100, maybe.
I don't know about that many, but I used to have quite a healthy assortment of spares for when I would go on the road with my S13. Let's see what we got here. M14 tie rod, GK Tech, shout out Officer Dan. This will be a long uncut one, so I'll need to trim it, but looks like red is right. Will put us in the ballpark. I'll just need to trim them down. I probably should have noted which side was which. That would have been smart of me. I've done this many times in the track, even holding it in the air with a grinder back in the days when I used to crash my 240 all the time. The most important thing is you want to make sure the nut is below where you're cutting, because after you get that rough edge, backing the nut off will actually clean up the end of the threads. Otherwise, you're gonna have a nightmare time putting it back in the car.
Smart.
This is new for me using one of these big fancy things, but I imagine this will be a lot cleaner and easier. I mean, this cut was so good it doesn't even really need it.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you're using like a just an angle grinder, it'll get all ugh on the ends, and then it's nice to have that work in your favor. Also, don't forget this part. I always forget to do the boots, and then I put everything together. I'm like, we actually don't run boots on the race cars. We crash more often than we blow a tire out from dirt. Fun fact. I think the right way is you pull off the outer tie rod end. I'm always too lazy to do that, so I always try to kind of finagle my way in. All right, when it comes time to center the rack, ignore literally everything. Ignore the steering wheel, ignore which way the wheels are pointed. It doesn't matter. The most important thing is you want to have the same amount of travel from here to here as you do from here to here. But some racks can be tricky, like this, where the bottom out place is actually inside the rack. So in this case, we want to measure from that inside point, which you can either do by sticking it in there, and we'll measure. So from there to the point where it touches here, it's about 3 1/4. This side is about 3. So now what we want to do, move it out. I'm gonna get both numbers equal. All right, we got the same distance on both sides. Now this is a super important part. Ignore the wheels. Don't touch anything. Don't let anyone touch the steering wheel. Now the first thing I'm gonna do, just as a precautionary measure, I'm gonna go into the steering column, which I can almost get to here, and I'm gonna put a little mark. That way I can always remember which is straight up. And to be fair, it's almost like only a spline off. Basically, the goal is we want to get the steering wheel straight now that we know the rack's centered. Leave a mark, and then anytime your car gets aligned, make sure no one takes the steering wheel off and puts it on cocked, because then it's going to mess everything up and delete all your hard work. Where if the steering wheel's straight, you align the car to the straight steering wheel and you'll always know your rack is centered. Oh my god, it was loose. Usually I would reattach the steering wheel onto this, and then I would leave the nut on so you don't hit yourself in the face. But this is the first time I've actually had enough room to get a hammer behind it, so I just save a lot of time by doing that. Now basically, this is where I would say, okay, mark your center point, because then you always know, unless you undo the like steering shaft, of course.
Okay.
And then every time you gotta put it back on, you know that it's straight. Now, I'm gonna try to keep this car period correct, but I hate this wheel, even though maybe this is period correct. I don't even know what it is, just as Italy. This isn't technically period correct. I think this would be a bit newer of an RD to put in this car, but this is actually the wheel that came in my Crest over in Japan. So for me, it's got a cool little history to it. Will I eventually change this wheel for a suede wheel of one of my own? Yes, but we've been sold out of our wheels for a while, and I'm waiting for the next batch to come in. So in the time being, I think it's the OG Cresta wheel. She tight. Made me drive so much better now.
Honestly, that and just the little front end change is gonna make this thing feel so much better.
Literally, the only things that you touch in a car are the only things that you feel.
Yeah.
So if you change your steering wheel,
You gonna feel it.
the tires are gonna squeal. Funny enough, my first ever set of BC coilovers were a set of DS series for S13. for my hats right there, and they were an absolute game changer for me on how that car drove, both on the street and the track. The DS series I still think is one of the biggest bangs for your buck. In this case, we're going with a set of 10K, 8K DS series all the way around. Although I think today I'm probably only gonna have time to do the front. The rear, I wanna go through and like realign, reset it up. But I also want the instant gratification of driving today. So we're gonna do the front, get the front all dialed in, and then we can save the rear for another day. And just a reminder, if you guys need help speccing out your set of BCs, feel free to reach out to our team over at Drift HQ. We've done so many different cars with so many different engine swaps that we've got a massive data list of all the different spring rates and shock setups that can get you what you're trying to achieve out of your shocks. I'm gonna sound like a little but it's 87 degrees in the shop right now. We have AC and it's normally not 87. I feel like 87, even for you like up northers, if it was 87 in your shop, you'd be
Yeah.
So I have an excuse to complain. It makes everything a lot less fun. So if I'm way less funny than I am normal, which would be really not funny, you can blame it on the heat. Come around this side. So if your tie rods look like this in the air, they're gonna look really bad on the ground. This car probably has gnarly bum steer, but I probably never noticed because the front shocks never did anything. To solve this, you get, what are they called, roll center correctors? Yeah, that basically will move this tie rod pickup down. We don't have time for that today, but maybe I'll do that when I install power steering. That's an insane angle.
We'll add that to the cart.
Yeah.
Well, while we're finishing this thing up, Owen was working on this.
So the last starter, it pretty much started to come loose on the motor here, just because of like the vibrations and the heat, we think, and then it actually failed. It wouldn't work anymore. So we're building a shield, and they're gonna put some like that heat tape on it.
Yeah.
You know?
So you just fab this up?
Yeah, I still gotta trim some more, but this is kind of.
That's sick.
This goes like over this. It pretty much goes like this up in here.
Yeah,
and
tucked up right underneath the header.
Yeah, so that's kind of the plan. I hope it's not too close.
It should help regardless.
Yeah, I hope it does.
I've been busting my ass all day on this thing, and that was the fun part of the day when I get to enjoy the work that we've done. I'm very fortunate that I live in a place where we can do the work and then also in the same video, same day, same breath, have the satisfaction of getting to try it. But it's kind of been one of those days and it's been really hot. So I'm going to, for lack of a better word, you guys have seen many different versions of me driving. The only way I know how to describe it is I'm gonna beat the ever living daylights out of this thing in the next couple little laps. So get ready for some fun. All right, here goes nothing. Not unhinged enough. I gotta go do some backies or something ignorant. Let's go over there. That was sketchy. What the f? What the f? I almost crashed. Let's do it again. Top of third gear. Yeah, but the problem is with no power steering, when you're doing a backie, you can't steer back in. I don't know these things until I try them. I think I gotta air the front up more, but I'm kind of being lazy. I'll air it up. All right, guys, I'm gonna try to go behind my house with no power steering, which is very sketchy. So I'm ready to bulk the f up. what's also a worthy mention is that this isn't just a car that's a manual power steering car. This is a car with power steering that just doesn't have power steering. So the rack ratio is not made to have power steering. Therefore, it's much harder than if it was just a manual no power steering car from the factory, which I'm not sure if S13s came that way. I need to go faster! Or was that Honda smoke?
That was tire smoke.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'm not used to like this car making enough power to make tire smoke.
I don't smell no Honda yet.
Yeah. Driving this car is like so unhinged. Yeah. I don't feel like that was a great backy, but it's like, it's probably.
You had two really good ones.
Really good for you is different than really good for me.
Well, from the outside angle, it looked like you did.
From the outside angle, it looked fake. Listen, I hold a high standard to my backies, so I'm gonna claim that those weren't backies, but those were aggressively snapped entries. I need more track, all right?
Yeah.
Or like, honestly, I think this thing makes enough power now where I could put like a good Accelera tire in the back, like maybe even like a 651.
Yeah.
I'm running some like very low grip tires in the back of it. I think I have the PHIs, which is like a great low power tire, but for this now, it just doesn't have the side bite that I want.
Gotcha.
I mean, I guess I could I'll drop the pressure, try one more, which is a bad luck thing to say, and then we're ending the video, so if you didn't hit like for me to send it on 8 pounds on these little tires. Welcome to today's video.